Hello, everyone.
Hi, Steve. I'll be there soon.
All right, no problem. Only 6:15, so I wanted to get things started, so let everybody come in early. Whew. We are going to spend Friday night at the hotel. We can get together and discuss about settings and so on. And we'll go to the dam early Saturday morning. Saturday during the day, we can find other things to do, go back to the hotel or other shooting opportunities. And those that want to can stay overnight Saturday. We may go to again to the dam Saturday afternoon, and then possibly again Sunday morning for those that stay at the hotel both Friday night and Saturday night. More details will be sent on that as we get closer. And without any further ado, I'll introduce our speaker tonight. It's the second part of his Lightroom presentation. Urbana native Thomas Nelshoppen works for Technology Services at the University of Illinois. He's primarily a sports photographer. He also dabbles in wildlife, portrait, and landscape photography. His images can be found on the Illini Baseball website, their annual media guides, and on baseball cards. Thomas is also a Parkland College community education instructor and helps guide those wanting to learn products such as Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop. He has an upcoming class for beginners on Photoshop beginning May 3rd. His favorite activity is going on photography adventures with his grown son, Dylan, who is also with us in the meeting tonight and is a new member. Welcome, Dylan. You can see a gallery of Tom's work here at https://photos.illinoisbaseballreport.com. Tom will go over the following topics tonight: how Lightroom catalogs work, importing your photos, culling and rating your photos, the export process, and how to establish an efficient workflow. So without further ado, we'll let Thomas take it away.
Thank you, Steve. I think I
Sure.
need access to share my screen.
You should be able to. It won't let you do it.
You have disabled my access to screen share.
I'll change the host to you. That's the only way I know to do it. So
There we go.
should be able to do it now.
So let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for listening to me speak for during this meeting. I really do appreciate it. Last time when we spoke, we talked a lot about editing with using Adobe Lightroom, and that is sort of the meat of making your photos look better. To me, Lightroom's real advantage is its organizational features, how you can organize your photographs, you can uh, rate and call your photographs a lot easier using a program like Lightroom, and it makes that a lot easier to, I guess, envision your overall view your vision, I guess, as opposed to just drilling down into one particular photograph. You can look at your gallery, you can look at your portfolio, you can see your good photographs, you can see your great photographs, and you can see the ones you want to just keep. That to me is a real benefit of using Lightroom, and I've used Lightroom not probably. I wish I'd started earlier. Let's put it that way. And I would say I probably had started around, let's say, I think around 2015 is a rough guess. And I'd like to start pretty much from the beginning. And this is my catalog, and I'm using the word catalog because that's the term that Lightroom uses. I have my photographs. My photographs are stored on both my local hard drive on my computer I have in front of me, but they're also stored. You can see local disk C right here. But if I scroll down, I do have a network attached storage unit, which is on our network here in our house. And that's where a lot of them are. And it is very, it's organizes them just as they are on each hard drive unit. And a catalog is just that. It indexes them just as if it were a catalog. And it each catalog is referenced by a a folder within your hard drive, and it's very much recommended that you do keep this relatively small uh, folder on your local hard drive. I've heard of some people doing it on a network drive. I feel a little iffy about that. I definitely back it up, and I'll get into that later. But and if anyone has any question as to, okay, where is my catalog? An easy way of finding that out is going into edit and catalog settings, and I have to drag this up. It will tell you right here, here's your path, and it even gives you a button that says show, and it brings it up right there. And this particular folder, it's the same folder that was there before. And there are a few components of it. I won't get too technical with that, but basically this file right here is has the meat of all the data, all the edits that you've made, all the ratings, the calling, everything that you've changed in your photos are in that file. There are a few other folders like which are previews. I'll get into previews and smart previews and how to use them, that kind of thing. And there's a folder for backups. Some photographers use multiple catalogs for a variety of reasons. I've heard, for the most part, photographers should stick with one catalog. Now, there may be a reason or two, mostly administratively or collaboratively. You might want to use two or three catalogs. For example, I um, I edit the photographs that my son Dylan here takes, and I'm a big believer in keeping everything separate because they're his photographs. I have my own. I want him to get total, copyright credit for his photographs. So he has his own, and so he has his own, catalog, his own folder. So that's something that I would, but that's his catalog, and I have my own. And so if I close this and let's cancel out of here, switching catalogs is just the easiest way is the file open recent, and I just go to I choose, for his, and I just gave him his. Everything will shut down. It'll reopen. You can see at the very top, it had a little banner that said opening, and then his will pop right up, and you can see it looks very similar along the left side. It has his folders, collections at the bottom, and I'll go over Lightroom collections in a bit. And it gives you, an idea of what the photograph, what photographs you are, where they are, how many you have, that kind of thing. What I thought we do is we'll start with the brand new one, brand new catalog. And then that's just file, new catalog. And it's going to ask you where you want to store it. I actually have I keep them in the pictures folder, a master folder in the pictures folder and called Lightroom. And I'm just going to create a new folder called, we'll just call it CC. And then we'll put it in here, and I'll call the file CC. All right, so we'll just go ahead and create that. And again, it closes down, starts up again. And basically it opens up and it gives, by the way, it gives my name up here, I think because I'm signed in with my my Adobe Creative Cloud account. Is that's my guess why it's giving my name up there, and that can always be changed. So basically you have a brand new catalog starting over from scratch. No photographs, no collections, no presets, just starting from scratch. Um, and what I thought we do is import some images from scratch and talk about there are a lot of options about how you can import them. I know when I started with Lightroom back in 2015, I just did a lot of defaults and I didn't really go into a lot of the details, a lot of the options that were there. And when I learned about Lightroom in detail, I was like, man, I could have done this or I could have done that, and it would have been nice. So I have an SD card. I have Dylan's SD card. I formatted mine from when we went to Lock and Dam 18. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that into my SD card reader. And so I'm gonna go ahead and click import. You can go into file and import photos and videos. You can drag photos onto the screen here. I just find it easier just to click the import button. If you get a screen that looks like this, and I never have, but I know this can happen. I honestly find it better to get all the options on both sides. It just allows for more uh, more options that I can choose. And I tend to want to read through just to double check. So when I click on the SD card on the left side, it shows all the photographs that are on the SD card, and then the options on the right side. Now I can see right now there are photographs that obviously were not taken in January. You can choose to not import these because I believe these have already been imported back in. You can hover over a photograph and find out that it was taken apparently in September 5th of 2021. What I tend to do is just uncheck it and then start with the ones that I'm pretty sure was taken, 117, and then scroll down to the bottom, shift, and then click. And this threw me the very first time I did this, and I realized that I tried to import these, and like nothing was importing. They're still not checked. Once they're highlighted, check it, and then boom, there they are. So you can tell that 51 photos are now checked. You have the option of copying the photos as are. These are taken with a Canon, so they're in CR2 raw format and in CR2 with the CR2 extension. You can copy them as is, or you can copy them as Adobe's DMG format. I tend to do it as the Canon's format. The advantage of the DMG format is that, well, I guess there are a few. It is a DMG is Adobe's proprietary format, so it works pretty well with Adobe products. It also saves a little bit of space. I still tend to keep it, the photo as is. So we're going to do that. So starting from the top, as far on the left side, you have the option of what previews you you want to build as you import these. And a preview is what picture you're looking at as you're editing your photograph. And because you're not actually editing the photograph, as we talked about last time, this is a non-destructive editor. You're basically editing just a preview, or it's showing you what it's going to look like. It's just a preview, and it just giving you because most photographs that you upload to your computer are going to be upward to 20 meg. It's going to take forever to represent that on your computer. So you're doing a preview, and so you have your choice of minimal, which is going to be pretty small. It's going to be quick. It's going to not take up a lot of disk space, but it might not look as good as you're editing it. Your results are going to look the same, but when you're editing the photograph, you're not going to see it as much. Embedded and sidecar will be slightly better. Standard will be pretty decent, and 1:1 will be very good, but it will take up a lot of disk space. And I tend to go with standard. Your mileage may vary, and you may have your own opinion, but I'm going to go with standard. Build smart preview. Smart previews are not for everyone. I know I have my purposes with it. If I'm working on a project and I have photographs that are not on my local hard drive, but I want to edit them, or yeah, I can build a smart preview of them, and then I can edit them once they get connected up with, if they're on external hard drive or on a network hard drive, as I mentioned, like this one over here, this C drive right here. Once they get connected again, the edits get synced up again. Now, the issue with smart previews is that they take up a lot. They take up more space than a 1:1 preview. So they do take up a lot of space, and it's all right. So I use them when I need to. So I'm not going to check this in this case because they're going to go on this hard drive here. I normally don't check the don't import suspected duplicates because I normally do know why I'm doing that. And I know in this case these are duplicates, but you can certainly use this if you feel like there may be duplicates. This next option is relatively new, I believe. Make a second copy to, and I highly recommend making backups. This basically will allow you to make a copy, and you can choose where you make the copy to. It can be on your on your hard drive here. You can make it onto a different external hard drive. I don't do this because I have a pretty robust backup system. I have three places I have my photographs. So, but if you don't, I highly recommend you do make a second copy if you don't already. I'm going to go over collections in a bit. For now, I'm not going to add this to the collection, but we probably will later. Renaming files is I highly recommend that you don't keep the default name unless you already have a certain system on your camera already. There are a lot of different ways that you can rename your file that comes out of the camera. You have some presets right here, right out of Lightroom. A good one is shoot name and original file number. And the original file number is in this case, the 4-digit code, I guess, that's the file on the file number. And I tend to like to have that 4-digit number because sometimes I need to find a file or photo and I just need that 4-digit number, and I can type it in, search for it, and boom, I have it. Or maybe there are 2 photos that have that, and it's really helpful. You might not need that, but you could, in that case, you could do a custom name or a shoot name, or in sequence, which would be the shoot name 1, shoot name 2, and then so on. And if you want to get really creative, you can come up with a custom text, and then you can insert any of these variables. And like, for example, you could have the date, insert the date. And for example, I could put, let's put the date here. I'll just click insert and then a dash and then click done. And it shows you what the file name will look like. We'll just call this Buck and Dam Eagle. Okay, so it shows you what the files will look like right here. And I think I'll just leave that as you can't. You have the option of changing the extension. I don't recommend doing that at all. You could do lowercase or uppercase. Mine always come out as they do on the camera. So apply during import. You can import presets during the import. I don't do that. If I'm going to do a preset, I'm going to do it, during the post-processing. But you can. I do, however, do my copyright, and I certainly not to give myself credit for these photographs because they are Dylan's. And just to show you what this is, it's just basically giving Dylan copyright, and if Dylan's what copyright status it is. If he wanted to make it public domain, he could. In this case, for making it copyrighted. If he had a website, which we're working on it, Dylan. And then if it was a certain photograph, one particular photograph, we could add particular information about that photograph. But for now, we'll just make it save. We'll just make sure that he has the copyright for all these photographs. Keywords, if you want to add a keyword for every photograph that you're importing, you can, and it will accept. Unfortunately, it accepts misspellings too. You can delineate them with commas. So I'm going to add a few. Walking down 18, eagle, bird, MISSISSIPPI. I still remember that from when I was in grade school. So, and then I just hit enter, and it enters that in. And finally, where are they going to go? And this is like, everybody's different with this. And I just have a folder in my pictures folder and by year. And this is the date format I have. And I know that some people have different types of photography they have, like portraits, landscape, and then they have places that they take in the photograph. They name their folders by that. I don't do it. I do them by date. You can put them in a subfolder. I'm going to do that just because I don't want to confuse them with the photos that were already there. I'm going to put it in a folder called CCCC, and it will show you where they are, and it will also show you, hey, you've got 13 photographs that you're not importing, and they're not checked, and that's fine. I'm just gonna import the ones that I want to import. So, and this all looks real complicated, but this is the first time we're importing them for this catalog. The next time, this will take about a minute because these are all set, and then you're good to go. So then we're gonna go ahead and import. I think I've got everything set up right. Oh, one more thing about dates. If you come home from a trip, and you've been gone for a week, you can do it by date and have your photographs put in a folder for each day, or you can put them in for each um, in one folder, and in that case you would just put them into one folder, and that uh, that is your choice. It really, sometimes if you're coming back from a vacation or a photography adventure, that might be what you want to do. So really that's your choice. That's where you would do that right here. In this case, we were there for 1 day, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit import. It shouldn't take too long, I don't think. But that you can see they're already showing up. So I tend to use smart previews because if I'm working on um, an article about the 2015 Awana baseball team, those have already been copied to my Z drive. And so if I go, I tend to like to work in coffee shops, whatever. And if I have smart previews for them, I can work on them, come home, connect that to my network, all the changes get synced up. If you export photographs that are smart previews, it's best to do it you need to do it when you're working off the actual photograph. And it's you it will warn you, this is a smart preview, are you sure you want to do this? But it just much more handier. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the Lightroom's concept of culling, rating, labeling photographs. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna do it my way. I know Jim and Steve and Ray, they have a totally different way of doing it than I do, and you all do. It really depends on how what you use your photographs for, how you want to organize them, um, and what your purpose is. You may be doing this for your own benefit, so you can find your photographs. You may want to see your photographs. You may be exporting them for social media, for Instagram, for printing. I know Steve does a lot of printing, or it or just to hand off to other people. It really depends. But this will be a good starting point. And well, for the first thing I want to go into, we went into just a little bit already. What's my we'll open one photograph, and this is what actually when we're I'm gonna click once here, just to zoom in just a little bit. Just what my process. I'll look at a photograph and I will decide, is this good enough to keep? And this goes for when I look at my baseball photographs. Is this something I'm going to reject right away? If it's something I want to reject, I'm going to either I will reject it, and you can reject it in so many ways. I'm not gonna reject this photograph by the way, because I kind of like it. But you can hit the X key, and I'll tell you right here. I'll do it again. Or uh, uh, you can do, and honestly, this is so cumbersome. I don't ever do this, but I right click, set flag, and reject it. You can tell it's already rejected. Or I'm sure there's a way up here in the menu up here to do that under photo, and you can tell right down here, and on your right below the photograph. I'm not going to reject it because I really like it, and I'm going to give it a quick rating. You can rate a photograph by again, you can set rating. I never do anything but with a mouse this way. I do almost everything by the keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the range you can give. Basically, you just hit the number you want. And you can just hit 3. If I think it's a 3, and then I can move on. And if I zoom in, I can tell that is not quite as in focus, or maybe it is, but it's hindered by the limbs of the trees. You can hit the and I'm just moving the right mouse button, and that one is I'm just not to reject it, but I'm not gonna move it either. And this is sort of a duplicate of the same one. And your other options are also picking is the opposite of rejecting, and this is where I may be a little bit different than most photographers. And I shoot baseball, as a lot of you know, and I use rating systems as how good of a quality photograph it is. I pick a photograph if I feel something important is happening in the photograph, and I'm going to use this photograph, later, that night or the next day in either social media or in a blog post, or if it's something I really need to pay attention to. Like yes, there may be photographs that are good, that are 4s or maybe even a 5. I don't give 5s out very often, but they're uh, but the ones I pick are the ones I'm going to pay attention to. I'm going to go back. So see this one here, I'm probably going to X that one out because unfortunately it just got behind the pole here. And that one's okay, except for, again, the limbs are, and this one I'm just totally but and then I will, Eagles always have to have this I kind of like that one. And I sometimes when I'm when I'm working on a photograph, I'll cheat, and I'll go into the development module, and I'll just see, okay, how good really is it? Because I can't trust. See, I really like this photograph. I really do. And I may give it a 4, and I might pick it, picking it as a P. By the way, unflagging a photograph is U, which is not intuitive, but I really do like that photograph. I think you must have heard you click or something. So yeah, I will, and when I'm working with photographs, I will I'll have 400, 500 photographs of a baseball game, and I can go through, I can spend 3 seconds on a photograph, either rejecting it or or picking it, and I'll go back to it later, and it could, I'll spend time editing it later, but then my process later is to change it. So once I go through it, and I go there are about 50 photographs here, that and I will say that once you set a rating, if I set a rating of 3 by hitting the 3 key, and I say, well, wait a minute, I like it better than I thought, I'll give it a 4. It you can just reset, what it is just by clicking it, or hitting the key. So here's a mass shot. I like the fact that it's an environmental shot of the area. But I guess I like this one better because it's more of it's a layered photo. It's got the railing in front, it's got the trees and the sky in the back, and then the dam on the side. So I would give that one, and probably pick it because it's something that I would, maybe show to a camera club, that kind of thing. So you get the idea. So it would definitely get a sense of what my workflow is. I want to speak a little bit about color labels, and if color labels don't show up below your photograph, click on this little down arrow, and this gives you everything that you have available to you under either the develop module or the library module. So I can click that. One thing then, so if I decide I want to label this as red, right now it's just labeled as red. If I do that, right, I can just click that, and you can see it's a little bit highlighted. Now that means nothing to me unless I assign it a meaning or something. An easier way is hit the 6 key, and that's 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I hit 6, I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna add it again. Labels don't mean a lot, like I say, unless you assign it a meaning, and you can do that. And there, under metadata, you have to have the library module highlighted. Under metadata and color label set, and you can edit, just so you don't forget. And you can assign what red means. It can mean anything. It can mean that you're assign it to a project, and you can say that you can edit later, or you can it can mean that you're going to assign it to a new project, or whatever. And just to drive home the point here, if I assign a yellow label to this picture, it says that right there. One thing to be clear is that whatever you type under this metadata, edit the color label set, whatever words you put in here, and if you assign the color the color label to this photograph, and you export it and you upload it to a website, this metadata stays with that photograph. So I guess my point being, don't put anything in here that you don't want eyes to see. Not that anyone would, but it's just fair warning. And that also goes with keywords, which is a good segue actually. I'm gonna cancel this because uh, I'm not gonna use that. Keywording is something I wish I had learned. Uh, where I had done from the very beginning uh, of at least shooting Illinois baseball. And I'm gonna go ahead and open my catalog here, and then Dylan's pictures will go. And just by the way, when you import photographs into a catalog and you do some edits and then you close Lightroom or close the catalog, there's no saving, it just automatically gets saved. So keywords has been a real boon to me when when I've been shooting uh, Illinois Illinois baseball, because a lot of things have been very helpful. But the biggest thing for me, I'm going to go to a certain catalog here I've been looking at here. Uh, not I'm looking for the wrong year here. People second. Because what's helpful is that I obviously have like Illinois baseball, in pretty much every Illinois baseball, the keyword Illinois baseball, and every Illinois baseball photograph I take. It's a no-brainer. If they're playing a certain team, in this case Nebraska, I have Nebraska or whatever team they're playing. To me, that's just also a no-brainer. And if what comes in handy is that if I know someone, well, I know all the players, so I can put in, hey, there's Justin Janis. I put his name in, so I get to know. I learn the players' names quickly, and then I input their names. Now, I will tell you right now, I don't do this until after I rate the photographs. I don't keyword every photograph. I only keyword the 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 rated photographs. And for me to rate a photograph of 2 is pretty good, because I tend to be pretty, I don't rate highly, but because you'll see, like for example, this one here, I did not keyword this one other than the default keywords, but this one here I did, because they're pretty similar. But it's come in so handy. So if it makes it easier for me um, to define a photo. If I want a photo of Cam McDonald in 2021, I can easily find one. If I scroll down and I'm trying to find a photograph of multiple uh, people of this game, of course I'm not finding one, but it does happen. And what I've found is becoming creative. Uh, for example, if I were keywords like high five, you know, so there'll be a burst mode of a home run, and then the batter, rounding third, coming home, and then of course high fiving or bumping home is more likely, but I still call it high five. So I can easily within this gallery here, and hopefully there was something of the sort. I can do a sort of keywords, and like they didn't have a good game. But I can do that within, let's do it for the whole, do it within a whole year here on the metadata. So I can look for, all right, there we go. So high five. So I have a bunch of high five photographs. And if I ever get in a bad mood, I know what to do. Um, and, and I'll just make this a little bit bigger. And so it gives you an idea how easy it is. And I can scroll this, make this, narrow the search down to, home runs by, pictures of home runs by a certain player. Hopefully I have, enough to warrant the search, but you get the idea. So when I first started, let's just open one photograph here. When I started doing this, you can see I've got a few keywords open. I never saw I never saw this field, this text field, this white text field you see under keywording. I just did put the text in here, and I never felt the need to do put the text in here and then enter. I just did a open field search here, or enter here. Honestly, I don't use keyword suggestions. They just don't come in handy, so I just close that. They may come in handy for you, so feel free to use them. Keyword sets, I have tried to use them. The problem is that Illinois baseball has so many players, and then if they had they only allow for how many? Edit set for 9, and you can see I actually did add a few. If they had a keyword set of 30, that would come in handy, but it would get cumbersome. So I just, you can see that if I start typing, it does fill in, and it's very intuitive. I just type and it works pretty well. This is my keyword list right now, and actually did clean up a lot of it. If you ever want to see, okay, where are my pictures of Allerton? You click on this arrow right here, and you can see my pictures that I've taken at Allerton. And this apparently was in May, I think, but it gives you, an easy, quick, easy way of doing that without having to go up here and doing a filter. As far as you doing keywording, I recommend thinking ahead. I wish I had thought ahead, when it came to using like keyword. If I'll give you a good example. Umpire. I started using the keyword umpire like maybe 2-3 years ago, and I wish I had done that, because I take lots of pictures of umpires, and I just started keywording for it, maybe a couple years ago. Okay, this guy's blowing snot out of his nose, but and so it does. If I'd done that, I would have had a few more going before 2017. So I get it. If I had thought about it, it would have been a lot nicer. Also, just a few more things about filtering. Not only can you filter on metadata, which is information that you enter, like rating, picking, rejecting. I tend to delete my my data, my photos that after I back them up off my hard drive, just because I rejected them for a reason. But labels, you can also you can filter on EXIF data, like what kind of camera it was, or what date it was taken. So I can, I can do a search on, for example, looking at like this place, going back to, in 2021, what pictures did I take with the, my, and I obviously my 7D Mark II with and with my 17 to 50 lens, and and you can narrow it down to that, and then it gives you a sense of, or you can narrow it down by keyword, and it does come in pretty handy, I think. One of the last things I want to talk about is exporting photographs, and I actually did some research on this before this, and I actually learned a lot. We're going to let's just pick this bluebell photograph here, and when you click export, you're going to get a window, and the first thing I look at whenever I click on this, I look in the upper left hand corner and I find out what exactly is it telling me it's going to export. There have been times when I tried to export one file, and I ended up exporting the whole gallery until I could cancel. So just make sure. Sometimes a highlight file or one highlight file is actually many highlight files. I like to go through just the options that you have, and basically from the top, it's asking you, where do you want to export this file to? And I'll be upfront with you. I have made a slight change in how I do things recently. I used to export to a temporary folder on my hard drive, very different from my pictures folder, thinking that I can always recreate it if I want to. But I've seen so many photographers who will put it in the same folder, but put it in a subfolder, and with an appropriate name. And so I started doing that, and I'm going to stick with that. And I would like to hear from anyone here who uses Lightroom with what you do, because I'm really curious. So this is my current my current way of doing things, and let's just go with like a web optimized photograph. So it'll put it in the same folder. I'll put it in a subfolder called web, and I will add it to the Lightroom catalog. So if I want to go into it real quick, just export, boom, it's done. And if for whatever reason the photo is already there, ask what to do. You can overwrite without warning, or you can choose a new name, or you can skip it. I've never had skip, so asking what to do is always the safe thing to do. You can rename the photograph. I tend to rename my photographs as I import them. You do have the option of given it a separate name with pretty much the same sort of syntax as when you import them into Lightroom, either a custom name with the original file number or sequence. I skipped that part. This is not a video. I always do JPEG. I don't see their need to go with any other document. Um, uh, this is probably a religious question here. what color space to go with? Is sRGB the best one? No, it's not. Is it the most compatible color space? Yes, it is, and that's probably why I go with that. And I think this is something I probably would like to hear from other people as well. But I think this is probably your best option, your most compatible option. For web optimized, like if you're posting this to a website, your best bet is to go with 80% quality. The old convention was that your photographs on the web should not be 100K or more. I think that nowadays it could be I've heard 300K or 400K is acceptable. So yeah, take that for what you will. So these are my standards, and they tend not to go with these settings. They tend not to go over 400K. Resize the fit, and I've heard people range from 1,000 long edge being 1,000 to 2,048, and I pretty much go to 1,600 pixels, and that works well for me. Some people do not like to sharpen, like automatically sharpen their photographs. I do, but I only go with the standard amount. I would not recommend going for a high amount, and I have not seen any abnormalities at all. If I'm exporting this for the web, and by that I mean sending over email or my social media, I definitely want my copyright and my contact information. I probably would remove location information, which is chat. You can include a watermark if you want. You can just do a simple text copyright, or you can just you can add a graphic watermark. I don't. That's just my personal choice. And finally, you can have what to do when everything is all exported. You can do nothing, or you can show it in your Explorer. Some people have it open in Photoshop, but I just have it do nothing. For prints, everything is pretty much the same, except for the quality is much higher. The long edge is 2048, and resolution is at 300. And for something I'm going to hand to someone who either pays for it or is a high quality photograph I'm handing out, I'm giving them the full quality, same 2048 and 300 resolution. So and that's going to be a large file. So that's pretty much how it works. If I ever change something, say I change this to I don't know, 95, I can just right click on this and update with current settings, and that would change this forever, so I can go back and not have to go through all this again. So again, this exporting is a 3-click process. It doesn't. I just am showing you all your options here, and So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and do what I call that's my wording, by the way. It's not a Lightroom term. I try to be as descriptive as I can. And here's the file itself. Now, where is this picture, by the way? Right click and show folder in library, and it will bring it up. No, show and explorer. Sorry, my bad. Okay, and there it is. And what, I'm just curious how big it. Okay, 786. Okay, it's bigger than I thought. So you could tweak that a little bit. And it did have the name, the date, and the original file number. So it exported as a JPEG as promised. So that's my process as far as exporting. The last thing I want to go over is collections. I pretty much work out of collections. If it's a project, unless it's a one and done photograph that I want to do, I work off of collections. If it's something that I'm, you know, you can see out of my my Illinois baseball collection. Whenever there's a game, I create a collection, and so you can see for every game I create a collection. There are a few ways to watch it. There are three ways that you can move a photograph into a collection. One is to click and drag a photograph into a collection. You can, when you're during the import process, you saw add to collection. That's mostly how I do it. I create these collections and move them in there right off the bat, and I work off them here. And you can also have smart collections. I find it I find them mostly useful for organizing. If you're having a project that includes photographs from different like different folders on your gallery, and you want to drag one from this one and one from that one, and you want to have it in one spot. Now, I've heard them talked about as virtual folders. Now, the one thing that's a bit of a misnomer is that if you edit anything in a collection, it will get reflected in your actual folder up here. I found if I drag this down into a collection here, it will get, so just so there's no communication on that. But it is very they are handy for for project that you're putting together. I have the current, sorry, I work on a Mac, and there's one I'm working on right now with all these, and it's a Photoshop project, but they're photographs from over a period of 2 years that I have to, rather than find each photograph and working on it, I just have them right here, and it just comes in very handy to do that. And I mentioned smart collections. One thing that I found real helpful, like for example, right now we're at the beginning of the baseball season, And I thought, what are my best photographs from last year? What's the best way for me uh, to find them? So I can create a smart collection. Best 21. Why not? So I'm creating basically it's going to go out and find the best pictures from last year. So it's going to put it inside my collection that from last year, and it's going to follow these rules. The rating is greater than or equal to, and when I first did this, I was like, okay, now what? And there are actually dots right here, and I just didn't see them. So that's what it was. And the keywords are, and as I said, I always use Illinois baseball. If I spell it right, I still can't spell it right. And I still can't spell it right. Okay, and then the date, the capture date is in the range. We'll just make it 21. That'll be fine. So basically, I'm looking for any pictures that are 3 stars or more with the keyword Illinois baseball between January 24th of last year and January 24th of this year, which will be basically last season. So I'll just do a quick this, and then I have 269 photos, which it says down here. And so, and I don't have to go hunting them, hunting for them or anything. They just show up. So that makes it a lot easier, in my opinion. So I'm gonna leave you with five tips. What 5 tips that just didn't fit anywhere else. If you're working on a photograph, you can tap the word L, and you get basically just the picture. You with a little bit of darken Lightroom on the side, type it again, and then you just get the picture. And then type it again, and then you get your Lightroom back. It's just a different way of looking at the photograph. In case you wanted to, just get a different perspective of what you're working on. My second tip is right click. Just so many options here. I've already shown you show and explore and go to folder and library. You can actually go to collection. There's my collection that I put it in. You can export from here. I don't have to go on export and go through the dialog box. I can just export and then click on here. It gets exported. I don't have to go through the rigmarole. The other one I use, I can edit, and this would be my third tip, is I edit in Photoshop. I can click on edit in Photoshop 2022, and then Photoshop comes up, and it's really good. I log my computer now because I'm running low on resources, but it's still coming up. But yeah, and then if you can work on it some more. Just so you know, it does save it as a separate copy in Lightroom once you're done working on it in Photoshop. So it does give you, it's still sort of non-destructive, although Photoshop is technically a destructive editor, just FYI. So I'm gonna not say this. My fourth one is solo mode. If you are working in develop module, you can right click on the side here on the right side, solo mode, and whatever whatever adjustment you're working in is the only one that's open. If I click on tone curve, that one opens and the basic one closes. If you click on detail, that opens and the other one closes. I normally have not done that. I honestly did not know that was there until about a year ago. But that's an option. I can right click and close it and turn it off if I want, but it's there if you want it. And my last one, as promised, if you want to edit your identity plate or the name that shows up here, right click and you can edit your identity plate, and basically it just this comes up. You can put your name there. You can put a graphic there. If you click on here, you just click and drag a graphic of your choice there. I decided just to put that for now. You can also adjust the size of the text that's up there. For example, with a library developed map book, that was all just way too big for me, so I kind of sized it down for me. But so that's what I have. I'd like to know if you have any questions or honestly, what color space do you guys use?
Tom, this was a great presentation. I really enjoyed it. I had a question. When you said you take your images, I understand where the catalog goes, but are you deleting the images and keeping them on an accessory hard drive, or what do you do with all the images?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. No, I don't. I do not delete my images. I know we're kind of running low on time. That's kind of why I skipped that part. I have my working images. I keep on my C drive, and I only have a 256 gigabyte hard drive. So, now what? I have a Synology network attached drive, which is right now it's a 4 terabyte unit, and it's upstairs behind our TV. And so I can copy to it, and I use a program that syncs up what I have on my hard drive to that, and it works really well. And what I do with that is I have a external like pocket USB hard drive connected to that, and every Friday it gets backed up to that. So and every month or so, I replace that. So there's like 3 copies of my photographs all going around. Yeah, if anyone wants a Synology network attached storage unit, Synology does do pretty well. I've had no problems with it, and it does cost a bit, but you can get upwards of 16 terabytes or more, depending on how much you want to pay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
You asked what color space we were using.
Yes.
Some of the older members are probably still shooting, like myself, sRGB, because for our projector in the early days, I don't know if the current projector we're using is this way, but it was compatible with the computer we were using and the projector, and our colors weren't coming out funky when we were trying to have competitions and things.
Right.
So universally, we just used sRGB.
Sure.
Just for that reason.
Does anyone not use sRGB? I'm curious.
I tend to
Yes.
use Adobe Pro.
Okay.
And my reasoning on that, with what reading I've done, and I might be wrong, is Adobe Pro has the widest color gamut. In other words, it
does.
maintains more colors out of the camera than any of the other color spaces. And now if I want to export to sRGB, I can. Now realizing that the color gamut in sRGB is not as wide, it has to interpolate what a color that exists in Pro doesn't exist in sRGB, but it comes pretty close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Steve,
He's-
you might
you're
want to,
exact-
you might want to watch, Steve, when we do things in the club and you have images that are Adobe Pro, because I'm not sure, well, I don't know what computer we're using right now, so I don't know what that computer is set at. But if it's at sRGB, see if it really alters your images enough that you'd be like, ooh, that's kind of funky.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to be talking about all this in at the end of March when I'm talking
you?
about color. Yes.
Good. I need to learn more about color. I really
Yeah.
do. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of color, when editing your photos in Lightroom, don't be afraid to mess with the sliders. Last year I took a really nice shot down in Mattoon, and then I messed around with the sliders and ended up something that looked really neat.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Tom, thanks for the tips. I've got one thing that I found out that's been helpful.
Yeah.
Once you upload your images, import them into the bottom, you're rating them. There's one trick that I found out that if you hit the cap lock key, okay, and you're looking at an image, as soon as you rate that, it'll jump to the next slide. So you don't have to
I
arrow
heard
over.
that.
Yeah, so you can do it basically with one finger. Say if you want to
Oh, yeah, you're right.
rate it, say for instance, as a 3. Once you hit 3, it'll jump over to the next one.
I'm rating all my photographs just to test it. You're right. Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, it
Okay.
helped me cut down some time.
Oh, I'll
Um,
bet.
And the other thing is, once I reject an image, give it a black flag or whatever, if you go up to, let's see, if you go up to photo at the top, at the bottom, it says delete rejected photos. So once you decide you want to get rid of it, you can go to delete
Right.
rejected photos, and all the ones
I
that
have
have
seen that.
the black flag will automatically disappear.
Mhm.
You can decide what you want to do, but basically delete them. So when I go through them quickly the first time, I'll throw out the ones that I don't want, that are out of focus or not real sharp. I'll delete those right away. And
I
then
tend to
go-
want to keep mine for a while just because, unless I'm running low on disk space.
yeah,
I hate deleting photographs.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones obviously that you don't
Yeah.
want, then that way there once you go back through them again, you don't have to look at it again.
Well, see, what I do is I'll find a gallery here in my library. I will filter the ones out. Let's just say I want to only edit the ones that are 2s. Now everything's out, and I only have the ones that are 2s and above in my,
Right.
so that way they're there, but they're I don't see them. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So now, like on my screen, I have, okay, that's a bad example. Let's do this. For some reason, okay. All right. So yeah, that's basically what I do is I so now I have 30 out of 175 showing, so I don't have to deal with the mucky muck. I
Sure.
start, and then you know, I go through, I don't have to go through 30 instead of 175.
Right.
And that's my workflow kind of.
Right. I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I've messed up in creating folders there, and I want to get combine 2 folders into one. Is it just a matter of clicking and dragging?
You, there are 2 ways you can do that. You can do it, you mostly want to do it within Lightroom if you can. If you have to
Right,
do
right.
it within the operating system, you can, and you just need to manually map them. And let's go up to the best way is to right click and update folder location. And then that will say, okay, where is this photo at? And then point to that photo. And then you can do it by, you can do it for multiple photographs or just one photograph. Probably you want to do it for the whole, you know, the whole gallery.
Right.
But you can just right click and update folder location.
Okay.
I've had to do that when it couldn't find a photograph.
Right.
If you need to do a Zoom session, you can show me your screen. I can certainly help you out with that.
Okay. That sounds a deal.
I'm in IT, so I do that anyway.
You might be hearing from me.
Yeah, right. No, feel free.
Don't worry, it won't be.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The
it's not
last time I
malicious.
did a Lightroom class, somebody said, yeah, I open Lightroom and I can't see my photographs. Where are they? And I spent like a half an hour on Zoom with her after the class trying to find her photographs. And it was real easy. I could certainly find them, but she could not find her photographs. So, but that's actually a very good point. You want to, if you're going to move your photographs, you want to do it within Lightroom, not in the operating system.
Okay.
Uh,
If you do it in the operating system, do you have to go back and re-import them into that location?
yeah, you want go to whatever file folder it's at, and then update folder location, and then point to where exactly it is. I've had to do that for example, any photographs I've had to move because I moved them to the Z drive. I just update their location, and then boom, it finds it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just feel free to reach out. You've got my email address, so I'll
I should have it somewhere. I believe I do.
I'll email you. I have
Okay.
yours. Yeah.
Okay.
And thanks for the tip about Locking Dam 18. Dylan and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, I could sell tickets. I know about 2 or 3 other groups that have been there. I'm looking forward to a trip, and I'm tempted to go there before the 19th outing.
Right. Right.
I'm just looking at the temperature before I go, though.
Right. Yeah, I tell you, Dylan had much better photos than I did. I was very, yeah, his photographs were quite amazing.
Did you want to show off that Mattoon shot I took?
But yeah, I was really impressed by his photographs.
Yeah.
But
Was there a lot of snow on the ground when you were there?
There was a little bit.
Yeah. If you walk left downstream and follow the wall, you can actually come down to the beach of the
Okay.
river, and you can literally stand underneath the eagles and watch them come to the trees. And it's an unobstructed view, and you could probably use a 200 millimeter lens and get a good shot.
All
That's
right,
how close
I'll
they
have to
get.
try to remember that.
Right. Oh, there's a juvenile. Yeah, there were plenty of eagles.
Yeah. And further down the river,
Oh,
there's some ice packs, and a lot of them will come and sit on the ice eating their fish. And
Right.
generally speaking, they'll have 2 or 3 other neighbors come by and start bothering them. So
Sure.
sometimes you'll see a flurry of activity. But the next time you go, it'd be worth looking at.
That's a shot you missed, Dylan, right there.
That's the shot I missed. Ah, dang it.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's amazing how different the different colorations that juveniles can have. They'll have all
I know, it
different
really
colors.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing the different color patterns they'll have underneath.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a chart that will show you a 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, and a 5 year. 5 year will be a full adult. That's a 5-year-old or older. But the 1 year old, their heads are brown, their beaks are digi brown. There's a little bit of white underneath. There's some pelicans.
Yep, right there. And what was amazing is that this tree up here, at some point we were there, it was just full
Yeah.
of eagles. I mean, it was just amazing. It had to be more than 300, 400 there.
Yeah.
All here, yeah. I don't know, what are you doing this weekend, Dylan?
I don't know,
I wanna go- I wanna go-
when we were there, I joked about seeing how many I could get in one shot. I think I did pretty
Right.
good.
A number of years ago, my first eagle expedition was actually to Starved Rock.
Yeah.
And
Rock.
so that winter they were really popular. I mean, the eagles were really concentrated in that area.
Right.
And it was like, I know what picture you're talking about as far as looking across here and seeing all the eagles in the tree. And I have to get a hold of that drive because I've got an image of all of these eagles, and there were like 80 or 100 eagles in these like 3 trees.
Wow.
And it's phenomenal how many eagles there were concentrated in that one area.
Right. Now I'm a big fan of the Mississippi River, and this just gives me one more reason to be.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. Are there any other questions then?
Any questions? Anyone else need help?
If nobody else has anything, we'll
No.
probably wrap it up. This was recorded, and I will be putting this recording up on our YouTube channel, and you'll get the link for that hopefully within the next 4 to 7 days.
Hello to my future self on YouTube.
There you
right.
go. So
I'm
Yeah.
gonna break the fourth wall while I can.
that's correct. So
Thank you all.
I was glad
Thank you.
everybody was able to
Thank
show
you.
up, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I think it's very informative.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So long.
All right.
Well, thank you, Tom, for having the meeting.
Oh, you
and,
bet. It's fun.
Yeah, it was really good. Glad you were able to.
Ray, I just sent you my email address in the chat.
I've got it now. Thank you.
Awesome. Please reach out. Okay. I love doing this
Okay.
kind of thing. Okay.
Okay, then.
This
I'll
is
be back. What's a good time to get you?
Anytime after like 7:30, 8,
Okay, then.
Thank you.
We'll do. Thank you.
Have a good night.